The story of Nazi Germany's conquest of Europe leading up to D-Day is a complex and tragic tale of military strategy, political maneuvering, and the consequences of appeasement. In the late 1930s, Europe was a tinderbox waiting to ignite. Adolf Hitler, the Chancellor of Germany, had already rearmed his nation in defiance of the Treaty of Versailles, and his territorial ambitions were becoming increasingly clear. His first move came in 1938, when he annexed Austria, an act that met little resistance from the international community. Emboldened by this success, Hitler turned his sights to Czechoslovakia, specifically the Sudetenland, home to a significant German-speaking minority. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain and French Premier Édouard Daladier, fearing another war, engaged in appeasement and allowed Hitler to annex the Sudetenland in the Munich Agreement of 1938. Having witnessed the lack of resolve from the Western powers, Hitler's next target was the remainder of Czechoslovakia. He marched into Prague in March 1939, effectively dismantling the country. Meanwhile, Poland lay in Hitler's crosshairs. He was convinced that Britain and France would again appease him, but this time they did not. In August 1939, Britain and France signed mutual defense pacts with Poland. When Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, World War II officially began. Hitler's Blitzkrieg tactics, characterized by fast-moving tanks and air support, overwhelmed the Polish defenses. The Poles fought bravely but were outmatched. In a matter of weeks, Poland fell to the Germans. France and Britain declared war on Germany, but remained mostly inactive during what would become known as the Phony War or Blitzkrieg in the West. Hitler, however, turned his attention to the West and launched his invasion of France and the Low Countries in May 1940. The Blitzkrieg struck with devastating speed. German forces bypassed heavily fortified positions, trapping the British Expeditionary Force and French armies at Dunkirk. In a miraculous evacuation known as the Miracle of Dunkirk, more than 300,000 British and French troops were safely evacuated back to Britain. France, meanwhile, crumbled under the German onslaught. Paris fell in June 1940 and France signed an armistice with Germany. The conquered nation was divided into occupied and Vichy France, a puppet regime. With the fall of France, Nazi Germany had achieved dominance in Western Europe. Britain stood alone, defiant but preparing for the inevitable showdown.